And I would request our esteemed panelist on stage, Mr. Gaurav Chowdhry, VP RVCF, and Mr. Santosh Salimath, Principal Architect, Google Cloud. Do we have him here? Mr. Santosh Salimath? Well, our next panelist, I would request Dr. Richa Singh, Professor, IIT Jodhpur. Humble request to everyone to kindly take your seats as we are all set to start our next session. Humble request to Mr. Puneet to kindly felicitate Mr. Gaurav Chowdhry. Now I would request Puneet ji to kindly felicitate Dr. Siddharth Srivastava from IIT Jodhpur.
So interestingly, I was looking at this particular data. There is one unicorn from Rajasthan, and there are 4 Sunicons. Sunicons in terms of welcome. Sunicorn is in terms of those startup companies which will get $1 billion valuation very soon. And interestingly, when I looked into the names of the companies, and these are the services that I end up buying on a regular basis. For example, the unicorn is Car Deco, which started from Rajasthan, got a $1 billion valuation. And every time I go to buy furniture in Wooden Street, it becomes a Sunicon. When I file taxes through Tax to Win, it becomes a Sunicon. So I'm sure Rajasthan has done a lot, and the entrepreneurial ecosystem is so booming here that you have so many unicorns and Sunicons. And now comes the AI. I was thinking, why shouldn't AI come to a state which always says Ram Ram Sa Padaru Sa? So the AI has already entered this particular state, maybe because of that statement. I mean, a little bit of humor aside, we'll start off with the gentleman Gaurav, who represents Rajasthan Venture Capital Fund. So what we would like to know from you, Gaurav, is in terms of what is that you're doing to bring that extra focus on AI and encourage startups. There are various mechanisms like iStart. I was told iStart is a very good initiative in Rajasthan, especially for startups to leverage the institutional support mechanism which is there. So it'll be good to understand from you what are the other things that you guys are thinking to support entrepreneurs in the AI ecosystems, please.
So thanks, Rajesh, and good afternoon to everyone. Just since you mentioned about Wooden Street, so that happens to be our portfolio company.
Excellent.
So, I represent RVCF. We are a 2-decade-old venture capital fund and probably the only fund which is operational over past 2 decades. We have raised 4 SEBI-registered funds, invested across 44 portfolio companies. Just to give you the context in terms of the kind of companies we have invested, we were investors in Mossambi, a comprehensive payment solution company, which got acquired by Pine Labs. Wooden Street happens to be one of our portfolio companies where our stake was sold to Westbridge and Premji Invest. Then we had NPST, which got listed on main board, so on and so forth. In terms of the stage, we are a pre-series A investor, typically investing in underserved geographies. So Rajasthan happens to be one of our key destinations apart from various other tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Why tier 2, tier 3 cities? Because we feel valuations are reasonable, promoters are frugal, and maybe in times to come we have a lot of IT companies or maybe AI companies which may have global customers, national relevance, and provide meaningful exits to the investors. In terms of what we are doing, Look, we are collaborating with the ecosystem players, academia, institutions, incubators, and say we are participating in events like AI Impact Summit. And all our LPs are institutional investors. So we do get a lot of feedback from from them that what needs to be done in terms of to create vibrant ecosystem, not only in Rajasthan, but on a pan-India basis. And since we are sitting in Rajasthan, we are talking about Rajasthan, we have host of companies in AI currently doing so. I'll give you an anecdote. FutureCure is a company in health tech space. It is a remote diagnostic platform which is treating vertigo and balance disorder problems. Their tests generate a lot of images, which are then through artificial intelligence are, framing an opinion and providing a treatment plan to patients, which is a humongous effort sitting in the state of Rajasthan. And I would like to share that recently they have closed a 100 crore round as well.
Okay.
So there are companies which are building from Rajasthan for the nation. I think India is evolving from building for Bharat now to building from Bharat. So I'll just take a pause here and happy to collaborate further.
First of all, congratulations for having Wooden Street in your portfolio. And second, congratulations for closing the 100 crore funding for the startup that you mentioned. But what is the typical ticket size that you would invest in a startup, or how would you support the startup founders? Do you do early start, mid start, or late start? Those will be helpful.
So we generally call it as a nurture capital.
Okay.
It's not only a financial support. We do a lot of mentoring, value addition in terms of maybe looking to create synergies with prospective clients, network building with respect to next set of investors. And as far as ticket size is concerned, as I mentioned, we are a pre-series A investor. Our ticket size is normally up to $1 million. We can consolidate our investment holding in follow-on rounds as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thanks, Gaurav. Moving to Dr. Siddharth, your institute has contributed to a lot of entrepreneurship in the country because many of your students tend to be entrepreneurs. So how do you see this space evolving specifically from an AI perspective? And do you have any regional initiatives for the state of Rajasthan from IIT Jodhpur?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So I would, mostly I'll give you our experiential learning, what we are seeing in IIT. One very key factor that we see is having a very heterogeneous team. Being somebody who is expert in building models is not really enough. You need to have a lot of domain knowledge. So for that, you always build your team, with somebody who has domain knowledge. And immersion is the key word. Immersion, right? So we have a medtech center, and a lot of students, as Rajesh was saying, that who do startups. They build startups. Many of them have AI-enabled technology in healthcare, and these are surprisingly very heterogeneous team. You may have a computer science graduate with a MBBS student together. They build a startup. And one of our startup, student-founded startup was with iStart by Kanika Singroha Cellverse. And she was very successful, utilizing iStart's mentoring especially. So, we at institute level, we try to forge collaborations. For example, IIT Jodhpur has a very thriving collaboration with AIIMS Jodhpur, but also with the National Law University Jodhpur and with Ayurved University in Jodhpur. So we try to do that at our level.
That's wonderful to know. So one is in terms of you have a support mechanism for your students, but how about somebody who is not an alumni of IIT Jodhpur, but have a good startup idea? Can they come to your center and leverage those facilities?
So that's what we would like to definitely do that. One way to do is we have a TISC, TISC which is our startup, is our incubator at IIT Jodhpur. We also have a TIH, Technology Innovation Hub, so you can also come with them. In all, we have about 8 Section 8 companies of IIT Jodhpur, right? We have JCKIF also, Jodhpur City Knowledge Foundation. So you can align with any one of them, and you can take advantage of the infrastructure as well as the faculties and the entire ecosystem of IIT. So you can do that by through TISC, TIH, two of the main things.
That's really fascinating to know that you don't have just one or two such avenues. You have 8 vehicles for the budding entrepreneurs to leverage. That's really wonderful to know, Dr. Siddharth. Moving to Santosh, Google has been very, very supportive by providing a lot of credits, especially on the GCP side, the cloud credits, so that some of the startup founders can leverage cloud infrastructure and get an early start to their startup idea or a startup venture. But apart from the cloud credits, what else Google is doing to promote entrepreneurs and startups? It will be good to know.
Yeah, definitely. First, good evening to all of you, and I'd like to thank the organizers for having me here and also for organizing a wonderful event. As Professor rightly said, one is the credit mechanism what we have, but apart from that, Google has a wide array of resources with which we can engage the entire startup community and in their entire journey of startup, be it AI startup or any technology startup. We have a program called as Google for Startup, which provides the support to the startup community right from the stage of ideation all the way till validation, and also in terms of taking it to the next level of implementation. It doesn't stop there. We also help them in terms of bringing the scale, in terms of expansion, so that the solution what they build on the GCP stack is completely, truly global in nature and in accordance with the compliance as well as the data security requirement, what is typically required by the end user and by the industry specific. That's one part of it. The second part is actually like more interesting. We do have a program called as Early Access Program, where we expose our top-end models, like it can be like AI models which are specific for task or specific for domain, or our state-of-the-art Gemini 3 model, and also the entire AI-optimized hardware what we have in terms of TPU. We give the access to the startup community so that they can start using it, start getting comfortable with it, and start being more conversant with the entire development cycle, what happens on the GCP stack, so that they can bring in various different kinds of solutions cutting across the sector, be it agriculture, healthcare, education, and so on. And other thing is, we do have a mechanism where we engage our own Google engineers, Google architects, and UI community team, so that we sit with the startup, try to understand their pain points, help them in terms of developing the solution, in terms of having those kind of architectural guidelines and good practices built in. So we have a complete plethora of technical support, which comes under deep technical mentorship program. And from the business side also, we add a few things to it. We enable the startup founders in terms of defining their go-to-market strategy, in terms of actually like creating that kind of a cohort where they get the good platform, good visibility to network with various other stakeholders, be it in terms of for raising the funds or their potential customer base, or even cross-pollinating some ideas with other co-founders. So we have a very, very holistic and very comprehensive program for startups. Yeah.
So what you're essentially saying is what has started with the support essentially through the cloud credits, it's kind of expanded to multiple areas. It was really heartening to notice that you're giving support in terms of extending help from a large language model perspective. And also you also mentioned about the tensor processing units whose support can be extended by Google.
Right. Yeah.
Since a lot of audience are interested in AI related ideas, what is the exact nature of help that they will get in terms of leveraging either processing unit, tensor processing unit, or the Gemini model?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so it all depends on actually what kind of solution you want to build using AI. With AI, we can build various different kinds of solutions cutting across various sectors, be it agriculture, be it healthcare, or you're using it for improving the G2C government to citizen services, or in terms of improving the business, or in terms of building those predictive and prescriptive models. So when you say AI, it is AI as well as generative AI. So we do actually like have multiple, basically the models available with us. If someone wants to build basically a chatbot or interactive platform for providing all the citizen services, we use Gen AI for that. We actually like create the entire Gen AI based application, and in the back end, it will be all powered by the Gen AI features in terms of content creation, in terms of addressing the multilingual capabilities, in terms of providing you the multimodal access, and also in terms of defining what is the intent of the end user, and also creating that kind of a traction with respect to RAG engine, where all the data, what is being answered by the AI, will be coming out of your database itself. So in that way, we help the entire AI community with not only exposing the core features of our Gen AI models, and also we help them in terms of fine-tuning it to your customer base, to your requirements. The way I mentioned is in terms of citizen services, but the same thing can be done for the healthcare industry. We do have a model called as Med LLM, which is specifically meant for healthcare sector.
Which one is that?
Med LLM, medical
Okay.
LLM.
Medical
so
LLM.
it has been the large language model which has been completely like retrained and fine-tuned for the medical industry requirement. So those are the specific helps what we give, and also a lot of cognitive AI model capabilities do exist in terms of speech to text, text to speech, in terms of NLP-based processing. Yeah. So we actually these are all horizontal LM models, large language models and AI models. We enable them to your customer base, to your requirement, so that the entire process is more fine-tuned for your different application layers. We do that support. In fact, Google team has a dedicated actually resources who will sit with your ISVs, who will sit with your SIs and sit with your actually startups, work with them in terms of meeting their requirements. Yeah.
And also, it's really positive to know the amount of traction that we are getting in the healthcare startups. Gaurav mentioned about a startup that is working on vertigo-related problems. And you mentioned about Med LLM. In fact, with the onset of COVID, that's when we have seen a good amount of leverage from an AI perspective. If you are aware of a company called Cure.ai, which actually came into existence during COVID, and at that point of time, there was an acute shortage of radiologists to look at your X-ray of chest. So Cure.ai started a service wherein you can take your X-ray, take the picture and upload it onto the platform. And they would tell you whether you have any symptoms of COVID or not. This was in 2020. Now, some young people here might have forgotten about COVID, and it seems like it was in distant past. Gaurav, in terms of from your perspective, there's also a lot of focus from Rajasthan in terms of AI for good governance. When I go to Andhra Pradesh, and when I get a chance to interact with Chandrababu Naidu Garu, he says it's all about WhatsApp governance. His government is on WhatsApp, right? And now when I come to Rajasthan, we are hearing a lot of good things about AI for good governance. So you having the hat of a venture capital fund, key executive in a venture capital fund, do you really differentiate in terms from an investment thesis perspective that, this is for public governance, or for AI for good governance, so we may not want to invest in that particular startup? I hope it is not the case, but just for the benefit of everyone, how do you look from a venture capital perspective, especially for startups who are working in this area?
I think from our investor lens perspective, what we are looking at, if we talk about Rajasthan, from scale, diversity, government openness, it can be maybe a living lab for AI in India. From our perspective, whether they are catering to government procurement or private sector clients, for us, as long as the startup is having 3 or 4 ingredients with respect to clear ownership of problem and solution by validating product market fit, then defensibility of technology, if that is there, it should not be just pure AI wrappers. They should focus on building core innovation. So that could be number 2. Number 3 could be strong founder market fit, because many times founders do build models, but they may not be knowing why now, what now. So that are very important questions for us if the startup has to scale. And last but not the least, specifically with respect to AI, repeated deployments, because it needs to have an exponential growth curve. For us, it becomes imperative that it should have an, step-based outcomes are necessary rather than incremental gains. So then if these all ingredients, and obviously there would be a host of other things that we may be evaluating in terms of features, but I think these would be the 4 parameters if we are looking for an AI startup that we need to support. So I would just say that these would be the four parameters.
So essentially, you're not, in terms of focusing for government is not a detriment.
No.
It's basically look at more from a business outcome rather than the technology perspective. Technology is incidental. That's good to know. Dr. Siddharth, from your perspective, you have a lot of your students incubating a number of startups now. It's also fashionable to do a lot of AI-related startups. But where do you see this space evolving? If you can share some ideas or a particular area where you're seeing a good traction from a new activity in the startup area at the interface of AI.
Yeah, I'll give some examples because students in our program, they go to multiple verticals, especially health. So for example, one of the startups, Heliantra, and they are now in the manufacturing stage. So they started with 3 products, and one of the founder was a maxillofacial surgeon. And so they have started this, the company builds implants, which will match the skin color. Okay. So that was one part where, they match the color using AI. Then one of the other startup, Sarbit, which is, showing their product in the hall. If your patient is in ICU with an infection, the typical timeline to find what is the infection goes into days with the microbiological process. So they have devised a way to generate Raman spectra from a chip on which the lung lavage or whatever the microbe will be there, and the Raman spectra is then matched with the Raman spectra of a pure organism to match it and figure it out. So you get the answer in minutes. There are many such. For example, there's one where Professor Richa Singh, student who was supposed to be here instead of me. So she developed a phone-based system where you take a picture of a child and you can immediately get whether the child is malnourished or not. Okay. For Anganwadi. So these are some use cases. Some of them, the startups are very successful. They are, as I said, in manufacturing stage. All of them have raised, in couple of crores during their inception. So variety of places where they are using AI.
Yeah. One thing is standing out very clearly. As it is, we are not eating healthy. So there is a lot of need for startups focused on medtech and health. So moving to you, Santosh, when I interact with a lot of entrepreneurs, either here or outside India, there seems to be a lot of focus on conversational AI. Now, everybody wants to build that conversational AI. And in India, the conversational AI becomes a lot more difficult because every 50 kilometers, the accent changes. So how do you guys see this space evolving? Are there any accelerators that Google is working on? It'll be good to hear your perspectives.
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, we do come across, especially India being such a diverse country, and within the states, we have multiple dialects and multiple accents, and the wordings also differ. So we have multiple solutions, multiple AI models, which typically addresses while we build the conversational model. So when we say the conversational, it's more in terms of the NLP-based activities as well as cognitive models. We do have a mechanism where we'll be able to have already a pre-built models in terms of doing the transliteration as well as translation, and also in terms of transcription of the entire text. So we have speech to text, text to speech, as well as language translation model, which support multiple pairs of language. For example, if I want to build a conversational solution for basically addressing the requirement of a farmer, then the personalization, then the localization takes a huge precedence. So we do have a solution, the chatbot, where the farmer will be able to express his intent either by a voice-based command, or he'll be able to even just type it out in his local language. Right. Yeah. So we do have those mechanisms in terms of providing the input in a multilingual model, or multimodal as well. When I say multimodal, even he can actually like show the image which is written in Telugu saying that this is the product I want to buy.
Right.
Then we have the capabilities of reading that multimodal image and getting the right set of, extracting the right set of information and providing the service in the language of his choice. The language of his choice, when we give him the output, it need not be in a textual format where he has to read it. We also have the speech to text and text to speech ability where the response can be read out to him as well. So in terms of conversational engines, we do have multiple actually like AI-based solutions, speech to text, text to speech, language detection, in terms of sentiment analysis, in terms of NLP-based processing capabilities, which are supporting almost all the Indian languages today, pairing with English, and also has the capability to understand the voice-based, video-based, image-based, text-based, which are truly multimodal. So the digital literacy barrier has been completely reduced. So we kind of cater to the requirement of the end user where they stand actually as of now, so that the adoption of these solutions will be more faster.
Understood.
So, yeah.
And I presume you will also leverage Bashni in that journey.
Yes.
I'm sure you must be leveraging.
Yeah. So we are actually like, we have actually hosted a lot of solutions which are more citizen-centric solutions, where the requirement of supporting the local language as well as multimodal capabilities really play an important role in the seamless adoption of the solution.
Understood. I think now it's a perfect segue to turn the attention to the audience. It's glad to see the audience level has gone up. I'm sure it's because of the interest of the subject and not somebody who is waiting at the door and saying, "Is session pe aap chale jaiye," right? So given that there's an interest level on the subject from the audience, it'll be good to leverage their presence on the stage to answer one or two questions from you. If you have any question, please let us know, and let us know to whom the question is. Yeah, go ahead. Can you wait till we get a mic to you? Oh, le lijiye aap.
Hello, my name is Shrey, and I'm also working on building indigenous AI solution for the MSMEs and common people. So I want to ask you, sir, like you are from RVCF, and you said that we are not looking for startups who are building wrappers, but we want core innovations. So I just want some examples from you, like what kind of core innovations you are looking for, because I think most of the people are working on wrappers itself. So that will be, I think, will be a clear point from your side.
No, thank you for the question. You know, for us, when we see AI, we see this as a horizontal capability that cuts across sectors. So I would not say, just to give you an example. So given voice-based AI, I'll just give you, since you asked for an example, in India, what we feel the kind of voice-based behavioral approach India has and recent technological changes that have happened, we feel that, you know, voice-based AI across sectors, be it customers, sales, fintech, HR, would be an interest for us. Similarly, a lot of companies which are doing, as I gave example of one of our remote diagnostic company, FutureCure. Another example would be one of our companies in fintech space called Network People Services Technologies, which got listed on SME Exchange and subsequently went on to list on the main board. So they have developed a technology in terms of using AI, early fraud detection, in terms of whenever there are transactions happening, they are recognizing those patterns, you know, building systems over it, and then reporting any anomalies that can assign to maybe a fraud, early fraud detection. So these would be the areas where we are looking at. Say, for example, another example, look, earlier native enterprise SaaS companies would have taken maybe 18 to 20 quarters to reach maybe 100 million ARR. Now, with companies like Cursor, Lovable, you have only 3 to 4 quarters to reach $100 million ARR. So I think that is the kind of companies, in case if we are only looking at AI native companies, those are the companies. Obviously, it would require a lot of patience. And with Government of India also coming up with India AI Mission, Startup India Seed Policy, you know, RDI Fund, which is a deep tech fund, and AI. So there are a lot of center of excellences being established by Government of India. So Government of India, plus there is a lot of private capital. Google is there. Institutions like IIT Jodhpur, IIT Chennai has recently established a 200 crore fund to enable SMEs using AI. So there is a lot which is happening, and for us in terms of our investment thesis, we feel that you need to build a model which is sustainable long term, and a lot of people can build responsibly AI, because for us we also follow ESG standards, which is environmental social governance, and look at SDGs according to it as well. So for us, building an AI business with ethics would be of prime importance.
So to sum it up, or is there any other question? Maybe we'll take one more question.
So how does RVCF fund, is it equity or like debt or grant or credits for
No,
CGPUs?
we do equity or quasi-equity. It would be in the form of equity shares or compulsory convertible preference shares.
Okay.
So we don't do debt.
Okay. And in terms of like GPU infrastructure like NVIDIA, where can we get access in Jaipur?
NVIDIA access, I may not be the right person. I think Google person is sitting there. I think he would be in a better position to answer that question.
Yeah, so in terms of actually like giving the access to basically the high computational power of basically GPUs as well as TPUs, there are multiple ways of getting it. One is in terms of India AI mission itself is a very classic example where the barrier of getting the high computational power for the SIs for training their models and everything has been actually like kind of made more seamless and more accessible with the public partner privateship, where we have a lot of actually like GPUs and TPU machines available. The second one is that even on our GCP platform itself, we do have actually like multiple flavors of NVIDIA chips based on your requirement in terms of whether you want to use it for what kind of training or interferencing or actually like model building itself. So we do have GPUs as well as our own TPUs, which are all AI optimized hardware chips available with you on the GCP platform.
Okay, and as far as data for training, is it also available?
Yeah, so data is...
Like language data, like suppose I need language data in different Indian languages.
Yeah, so we also work with a lot of nodal agencies to get because the data is the fuel for AI. Getting the localized, curated data set is a very important, and non-personalized data set is very important. So we work with a lot of nodal agencies to get those kind of data sets when we want to retrain the model for the specific industry. It can be healthcare, or it can be agriculture, or banking, or finance. So the data set is something we have to cross-collaborate with each other to create those data sets. Yeah.
So a startup can get access to that data through AI mission?
Yeah, AI mission is having some programs, I believe. Yeah, so we definitely like those kind of data sets should be available.
Okay.
Thank you for those questions. So in addition to that, from an India perspective, at PwC, we work very closely with a company called Yotta, which is an India-based data center, and they kind of democratizing the access to GPUs through a subscription model. They're pan-India based, so if you're keen to look at that, you can take a look at Yotta as a data center which is there. So to sum up, what it appears to me is today there is no dearth of access. If you have a very good intent, access becomes automatically available. There are vehicles like RVCF, there are vehicles like IIT Jodhpur and the others in the state of Rajasthan, in addition to the nationwide providers like Google Cloud. So with that, I would like to bring this panel discussion to an end. Thanks, audience, and hopefully we have not put you to sleep. In case we have put you to, you can give that credit to us because you've got a good nap at the end of the session. Thank you.
Thank you for such an interactive session. Thank you so much. I would request Mr. Puneet Kumar Jain to kindly come on stage and present memento to Mr. Gaurav Chowdhry, VP RVCF. Now I would request Mr. Puneet Kumar Jain, Deputy Director DOIT, to kindly present the memento to Mr. Santosh Salimath, Principal Architect, Google Cloud. Thank you so much. Now I would request Mr. Vijay Sharma to kindly come on stage and felicitate our moderator, Mr. Rajesh Dhuddu, Emerging Tech Partner, PwC Speakers.